Well, the death of Freddie Gray while in police custody sparked outrage across the country and put Baltimore on edge. Another incident this week pushed that city to the breaking point. But then it turned out that what people thought they saw, including the media, didn't really happen at all. Adam has more.
On Monday, bystanders watched as Baltimore police chased a man down the street and appeared to shoot him from behind.
He just shot him, bro.
They shot him?
They shot him in the back, man.
Baltimore police at Penn North shot a man in the back, and they're macing people. Tweet it out.
Several journalists did. And Fox News reporter Mike Tobin said on air that he saw the whole thing.
And as he was running away, that officer drew his weapon and fired and struck the individual who was running away.
But then...
Nobody was shot.
How are you sure about that?
Because we have no shooting victim.
Instead, police said they chased a man who was carrying a handgun, which discharged when he tried to pull it out.
Witnesses are saying that he was shot in the back. Was he shot in the back?
Ma'am, I said no one was injured.
Witnesses are saying that he was injured, though.
No one was injured.
Cue the mea culpa from Fox News anchor Shepard Smith.
It sounds to me like what's happened is we screwed up.
But reporter Mike Tobin was a bit less contrite.
But if the situation were to duplicate itself a short period of time from now, or any time in the future, I'd be hard-pressed not to arrive at the same conclusion.
Which might not be the right lesson.
That is amazing, and it's almost like a wishful event. Here it is again. So you're reporting something that you think you saw because it had happened once before, and you're just so incredulous that it could happen again that you project it into the moment.
My hunch is, not having been there, that that's probably a piece of it. And it also sounds like the way this event unfolded, a lot of people, whatever their motivations or whatever their conceptual filter, they saw this man run and heard a noise and saw him fall. So I might well, if I were on the scene, have reached the same conclusion. I think the thing to do is couch your reporting with an appears to have happened or a man, this may have occurred. And some of the journalists, I think it was a woman from McClatchy, did tweet that. A man appears to have been shot. In fact, he wasn't. Again, I think we can all make mistakes. We can report things in real time now. So I'm a little sympathetic to the Fox reporter.
It's one thing for the bystanders to be saying some of those things. Another thing for...
I think you got to leave yourself a little wiggle room in case what you think you saw happened isn't what actually happened.
Well, one of the things that reporters do is that if they witness something directly, they're going to tell you what they saw. So I'm a little bit sympathetic to Mike Tobin here because clearly he thought he witnessed a police officer shooting somebody who was running away, and he didn't. What I don't understand, and this kind of goes to past Fox News corrections, like the infamous moment after the Supreme Court decision a few years ago, is the lack of contrition and the lack of, gee, how did I get this wrong? How would I avoid making this mistake the next time? Instead, it's just, well, if I saw something like this again, I guess I'd say the same thing. That's not a good way to go.
No, it's not. But I think I watched the whole the bystanders' whole video. It was extremely chaotic. And what I did notice is that the cops just started pepper spraying people, and they did not ever say, not the ones on the front line. It took the other people later to say nobody was shot. But the first ones never said nobody was shot.
They never
said a word.
They never
So
talked.
it's like, well, wait a minute. Well, what's going on? And you're standing there, so you hear the bystanders ratcheting themselves up and up and up and up.
There actually was a moment, we didn't see the video right after part of the video we showed where a bystander says, you shot him. And you can see this cop, he looks like he's about 25, say, I didn't shoot, but you can't even hear him because the hue and cry is so loud. You're right, no authority figure was out there saying, he's
wait a minute.
Wounded.
Yeah, hold on just a second, which but listen, it was going to be a charged atmosphere
traditionally
anyway.
do not address crowds. They never tell anybody what happened. That's part of the training. They don't do
I
it.
get that, but
it's not helpful, but they don't do it.
Well, right, in this instance, it really wasn't helpful because because it really did look, to your point, from this reporter's perspective, the guy, he's running, you hear the shot, you see the gun, the guy's on the ground, then you see him loaded into the ambulance. Well, it's not untoward for a normal person to say, something happened here that wasn't right. So, anyway.
But Mike Tobin didn't say something happened.
No, that's
He
true.
said that officer leveled his firearm and shot him in the back, definitively, without any qualification. Now, maybe
taken.
that's what he thought he saw, but apparently in that moment he lost his mind. And he saw something that he didn't see. And
He wanted to see it.
For him to go on the air with it is just an outrageous breach. This is so damaging, so damaging. And I'll tell you one way in which it's damaging. What happens tomorrow?
Right.
If a similar incident occurs and the officer does indeed shoot a man who's fleeing, there's already X% of the public that doesn't believe facts because it doesn't fit their preconceived narrative. Watch for that number to go higher in the future. Thank goodness Shepard Smith had the presence of mind to step in and say what he said. But then to put the guy on the air later and let him try to cover his butt on that, just really, really scary, dangerous stuff.
Here's what's also scary. I wanted to point out the video that we saw was live streamed.
Oh, was it a Periscope?
No, but it was Ustream. It was one of the older ones. But my point is this. We've been discussing here what happens when there is no context. We don't know what happens, and somebody just puts it on. And he was the guy saying, hey, they shot a guy, get down here. So this is going to be an issue.
And sometimes
that's what we were
video.
talking about when it's not a reporter
Right.
who's originally saying
exactly.
it. You don't know
but
what
this
to
was
think.
live upload.
That's interesting.
Yeah.